the hidden physics of the workplace. The air in a boardroom is a conductor. You have likely experienced this phenomenon. Walking into a meeting and feeling an immediate, visceral shift in the environment. One room vibrates with a shared sense of purpose and fluid creativity. Another feels weighted by a heavy, palpable friction that stifles every idea before it is spoken. When two teams possess identical talent and resources, yet produce vastly different results. The variable is rarely technical, it is the emotional climate. As a leader, your mood is not a private matter. It is a strategic asset or a crushing competitive disadvantage. The seminal work, Primal Leadership, posits that leadership is fundamentally emotional. While we are trained to prioritize strategy and metrics, the biological reality is that a leader's primary task is to manage the emotional state of the collective. This is the primal dimension of leadership, the core driver of performance that determines whether a team flourishes or fractures. You are graphing your mood onto your team emotional contagion. The neurobiology of leadership reveals a stark truth. A leader's internal state is effectively graphed onto the brains of their followers. This occurs through emotional contagion, a process driven by mirror neurons that allow us to subconsciously mimic the emotions of those around us. Because of the inherent power dynamics in an organization, followers are biologically tuned to the leader's emotional frequency. The amygdala, our brain's emotional radar, scans the leader for cues on how to feel and react. This reality places a profound responsibility on the executive. As primal leadership argues, the primal dimension driving emotions in the right direction is the first and most important role of a leader. If your internal state is one of anxiety, cynicism, or distraction, that is the state you are broadcasting to your organization. To lead others, you must first master the art of leading your own internal climate. The high cost of dissonance. In the landscape of leadership, you are either creating resonance or dissonance. Resonance is a synchronous, positive state characterized by optimism and connection. Dissonance, conversely, is a disconnected state fueled by fear, anxiety, or resentment. It is often the byproduct of a leader who is emotionally tone deaf, unaware of the negative wake they leave behind. In traditional corporate cultures, dissonance is frequently misidentified as toughness or having high standards. This is a dangerous fallacy. Neuroscience shows that an environment of fear actually cripples a team's intellectual capacity. When the amygdala is triggered by a dissonant leader, the brain enters a survival mode that shunts oxygen and glucose away from the prefrontal cortex, the center for complex problem-solving, innovation, and strategic thought. Dissonance doesn't make a team tougher. It makes them functionally less intelligent. The 4 pillars of the resonant leader. Mastering resonance is not a matter of soft skills. It is a mastery of critical competencies. These 4 domains of emotional intelligence, EI, serve as the infrastructure for high performance, self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. One style does not fit all. A resonant leader does not rely on a single personality type. They utilize a flexible toolkit of 6 leadership styles. The key is knowing which tool the situation demands. The resonant styles are visionary, coaching, affiliative, and democratic. The dissonant styles are pace-setting and commanding. Soft focus, hard results, the Alcoa factor. The financial power of emotional focus is perhaps best proven by Paul O'Neill's transformative tenure at Alcoa. Upon taking the helm, O'Neill bypassed standard profit talk and focused entirely on a human value, safety. He set a visionary goal of 0 workplace injuries, a move that required deep trust and transparent communication between labor and management. By prioritizing relationship management and safety, O'Neill forced the organization to streamline production and improve communication loops. The results were staggering. During his tenure, Alcoa's net income grew fivefold, and the company's market capitalization increased by $27 billion. O'Neill proved that focusing on human resonance is not a distraction from the bottom line. It is the most efficient way to grow it. The pause that saves your culture. In the heat of a high-pressure day, even the best leaders are susceptible to an amygdala hijack, a sudden emotional surge that bypasses rational thought and leads to reactive, dissonant behavior. The most practical tool to combat this is the pause. By implementing a simple 5-second pause and a deep breath, you allow your prefrontal cortex to re-engage and override the hijack. This emotional check-in allows you to ask, what is my current state, and what state do I need to create in this room? A 5-second internal audit can prevent months of relational repair and cultural damage. Conclusion: your emotional wake. Leadership excellence is not a static trait, but a deliberate process of self-improvement guided by intentional change theory. To bridge the gap between your ideal self, the leader you want to be, and your real self, how you are currently perceived, you must develop a concrete learning agenda and surround yourself with trusting relationships, mentors, and peers who can provide the honest feedback necessary for growth. As you move through your organization, you leave behind an emotional wake, just as a ship leaves a trail in the water. Your every interaction leaves a lasting impression on your team. Does your wake leave people feeling energized, clear-headed, and synchronous? Or does it leave them struggling in the turbulence of dissonance? What kind of emotional wake did you leave after your last meeting?